Hey everybody, welcome back to Crust Punk. I'm JD Limelight, and this is our biscotti episode. Or biscotti. You say biscotti, I say biscotti, but we're not going to call the whole thing off. We're going to make these cookies. They're twice baked Italian cookies. I think that's why they're called biscotti. I think that's the bi part of it. Anyway, the recipe calls for 1 cup of toasted and chopped almonds. We got some flour here. We got two or so cups of flour. We got half a cup of brown sugar. We have a pinch of salt, and that's your baking powder right there. That's all in the recipe that you can read on the screen. Then we have your toasted and chopped almonds right here. Toasted and chopped them myself. You can buy roasted almonds and whatever, but they should be about that chopped, rough chopped. Then over here, we have the olive oil, because it's Italian, right? So it's got to have olive oil in it. And almond extract, vanilla extract, and some orange zest. That's a little goo right there. So the process is going to be to make, and then there's 3, I don't need that anymore. 3 beaten eggs. See the little frothy? I beat these a little while ago. I'm going to beat them up a little more. And then it goes like this. Then what do? Okay, so the next step then is we're just going to roll right on through this. We take your beaten eggs, and I don't think we need that for a minute. We'll put this over here. Here's your stuff. Boom. Right in there. Right. We'll mix that up a little bit. So you got this stuff happening. Mix, 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 mix. Then we're going to take these dry ingredients, and I maybe should have done this before, but we're going to give those a good whisk together. I just wanted everybody to see what was in there. I was really excited, and I haven't done this in a while. I'm really excited. I put on my best vest. Well, not my best vest, but my best baking vest. And so we're going to get that good and going. You know, there's a lump of sugar in there I don't like. I'm just going to reach in there and explode it with my fat fingers. All right, there you go. And there's all your ingredients blended. So now we're going to take this dry stuff and we're going to mix it into the wet stuff, and we're going to get it just so it holds together. Then we're going to fold the nuts into it. We're going to fold our nuts right into it. Right.
You said nuts.
Then I said nuts. I said it emphatically. And so here we got this going on. We're doing this. We're just getting it a little bit together like this.
Oh, it smells all almondy.
Yeah, it's really nice, right? And I bet everybody's really pleased as punch, Nina, that you are filming this for their enjoyment. Then, you get your hands in there. You got to get a little dirty when you're making cookies. That's just all there is to it. Crust Punk. And throw that over there. Then I'm just going to take this over here. I'm going to give it a little bit of hand play right there. And you don't want to get it. I don't know what you want to do, really. You just want to make some biscotti. Then you're going to take your nuts and you're going to put them in there. And again, just kind of don't really kill it. I mean, we're Crust Punk, but you got to be gentle sometimes. Aww. Yeah. So we're being gentle with ourselves today, and with our biscotti. And then we're going to get it just so that the nuts are all in there. You want to get your nuts all in there. That's what everyone says. I mean, who doesn't say that? Who doesn't say that, really?
Get those nuts in there.
Get those nuts right in there. And you can see as we push it around and get everybody getting friendly.
Yeah.
We had this whole thing on peanut butter homogenization the other day. This is a little biscotti homogenization. And we're doing this. And I think I'm liking it.
No nut left behind.
No nut left behind, exactly. Thank you. And, there's a couple of nuts. All right, so then we're going to take this little dough ball of goodness. The ants will get that for us later. We'll talk about that another time. And then what we're going to do, so twice baked biscotti. What happens here is we are going to cut this thing in half, roughly. I'm just going to do this. And we're going to form 2 logs. And we're going to do that over here on this pre-done up cookie sheet that's got a little cornmeal on it, because I like that. This is kind of my signature thing. And then we're going to make these logs. And we're going to And we're gonna take this one, we're gonna do the same. Now, you don't have to be like super in a rush, but there is baking powder in there, which is like there's a chemical reaction going on in here as we're forming this dough up, where that baking powder stuff is just like, ooh, I want to expand, I want to do a thing. So, but that's okay, because we're making our little logs. Sometimes depending on the day and the temperature and the humidity and all the things, you may find that you have to wet your fingers to do this, like the dough may be a little stickier. I'm lucking out and that this is not being too particularly sticky. Also, I think my logs weren't quite the same size when I cut it, when I rendered it in two. But the thing is, even if they're different sizes, you kind of want to have them be the same size log. You know what I'm saying? Like the same girth of log, as it were. And I choose my words very carefully.
That's like
Crust Punk.
those are girthy logs.
Those are some girthy logs. And so I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the consistency of these. Then what happens is these go in the oven for a half hour, and then I'm going to take them out of the oven and we're going to slice them, and then you'll see why they're the whole twice baked thing. That's where the whole twice baked thing comes into play. So we're going to put these in the oven for a half hour. We're going to cross our fingers, hope that I did it right. They're going to spread a little bit. We'll see what happens. And we'll see you in about a half hour or so. Here go your logs into the oven, which has been preheated at 325 degrees, if I didn't mention that earlier. And they're in there. We'll see you in about a half hour, folks. Crust Punk. Hey, welcome back to Crust Punk. I'm JD Limelight, and our biscotti are coming out of the oven right now. It's been 30 minutes for one bake. And what we do right here, look at those things. They're beautiful, right? But what's going to happen next is we're going to let them sit here for about 10 minutes while they cool off a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slice them. And we're going to give them this like little bias slice. And yeah, it's going to be beautiful. And then we'll have biscotti. We're going to bake them again. So we'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, bye. Hey, welcome back to Crust Punk. JD Limelight here with biscotti. Here's one of them. And the other one's back behind me over here. The logs, the girthy logs. So anyway, yeah, we'll get right into it. So we're gonna slice these now, and then we're gonna lay the slices out back on the baking sheet, and they're gonna cook 10 minutes aside. Like I told you, it's a lengthy, involved process to make biscotti, but it's worth it because then you could dip them in your coffee in the morning or tea or whatever. And we did these ones. These are almond biscotti. It's just a straight almond thing, but you can use hazelnuts. You could do anything like, and it's a cup of nuts. You could use half a cup of nuts and a half a cup of like chocolate chips or cacao or something. Whatever flavor wise, you can mix it up. But these are the basics. This is your basic biscotti. Now we're gonna slice it up. So when you slice them, you're gonna do it on a bias cut. You're gonna do it like kind of at almost a 45, I guess. So you're gonna take the end off. Serrated knives are no joke, folks. Be careful with your serrated knives. Then we're gonna very carefully get in there, and hopefully, yeah. And you do them about finger length, finger width, something like that. And they come out like that. It's kind of a delicate process. Sometimes they kind of want to fall apart sometimes, but you just gotta find your groove, your biscotti groove, and get them going on. There you go. Doing the best we can. We're gonna pull this guy around here, and then I'm just gonna lay these right on here like this. And you can see that they're not fully cooked. These cookies, this dough is not fully cooked, which is kind of why this is a little bit of a harrowing process. I'm gonna come from this side now.
And this is just the same pan you used before, right? You didn't add any.
Yeah, no, I just pulled this one right out of the oven. And now I'm gonna go in this direction because it's a little bit more.
And this just has parchment paper on it?
That is wax paper today, but generally I prefer parchment, but we were out of it, so we're using our wax paper. And here we go, making our slices, and I'm just going through like slicing bread. But sometimes those nuts wanna nut you up. So And then you just I usually lift them up from both ends. Boom. And put them like that. And you can put them pretty close. I'm going to do the other thing. I'm going to do this with the other loaf as well.
Leftover biscotti crumbs are really awful on ice cream.
Yeah, they're terrible as a topping for ice cream. Yeah. All of this stuff is gold, and all of this stuff, you just want to put this in a jar for your ants, for your ant collection, for them to find in the middle of the night. Okay. Anyway.
That's how you get ants.
And that's how you get ants. So here's our other log. You guys want to stick around and watch me slice up another one? It's gonna go. I'm gonna do it from this direction because that was for the camera, but this is for me.
Just give it to us. You can't have too much log.
And if you tried to do this when you pull them right out of the oven, they would just completely fall apart. That's why you give them a 10-minute rest after you pull them. And this one, I'm just doing this, boom, boom. And again, to pick it up from the edges, put them on there. These might have been they're vaguely thicker, but that's okay. We're gonna do this and this and this, this and this and this, and this. And that one's a crumb. That's a crumb. Crumbs. So here we go. Here's our biscotti. Now that I know, we give them a little bit of space. Space them out just a little bit. They don't have to be all crowded. A little bit of social distancing for your baking safety. And let's just now. So we're gonna put these in the oven for 10 minutes. We come back. We pull them out. We're gonna flip them, and then another 10 minutes, and then they're done. So if you want to start making some coffee now for your fresh baked biscotti, now would be the time to start grinding up your beans and everything. Anyway, we're gonna put these in the oven, 325, 10 minutes. And at this point, I would also like to call your attention to the cutest little timer ever, Crust Punk. Don't get me wrong, that is a cute timer. 10 minutes, biscotti mouse. We'll see you soon.
3.
Welcome back to Crust Punk. We're about to flip those biscotti right over. I'm gonna pull them out of the oven like this. Safety first, especially in these times. You don't want to mess around. You don't want to get burned. Anyway, there they are. They're looking lovely. We're just gonna start flipping them over like this. Boom, boom. Just methodically, row by row, flip them over. Don't burn yourself. Oh, I also wanted to mention that when I'm doing these recipes for y'all, I do low sugar stuff. I like I test them. I do them. We don't like things as sweet around here as some people. So if you wanted to add like a half a cup of sugar to this overall recipe, it wouldn't send them overboard sugar-wise. It's actually probably what most traditional recipes would have, about another half cup of sugar in them. But anyway. So there they are, flipped, and they're going to go in for another 10 minutes, and then they're going to be done. So now's about the time to start boiling that water, brewing that coffee. Or I guess there's some dessert wines you can have with it, depending on the time of day. Biscotti back in the oven, 10 more minutes. Most adorable timer ever. Gonna tell you what's what. We'll see you back in 10 minutes to see how that biscotti project wraps up. And until then, I'm JD Limelight with Crust Punk. Hey, welcome back to this last little segment of this week's installment of Crust Punk. JD Limelight, and these are biscotti, and they're coming out of the oven finally. It's like all day. It's been like all day we've been making these cookies, but it's worth it because now look at them. Oh man, you want to come here and take a look at these? They're so yummy looking. Look how golden and brown. And like I said, feel free to add more sugar if you'd like, but we like them just like this. Now they are hot out of the oven. They have been baked on both sides. I flipped them earlier. They're hot. These are hot little cookies.
Wait,
but
are they hot?
They're hot. They're hot in my hot little hands. Yeah, that is really hot. Right?
Do you want a little spatula?
Nah, this is Crust Punk. We do it by hand.
But
pain is the point.
If someone was less punk, they could do it.
If you were less punk, you could use I don't know. You could do it like that.
Or a little grabby
Pinky's
thing.
out though. Pinky's out if you're gonna use a tool. Fancy. You're a fancy clown. Whatever. Anyway, let's just finish this up because we have tea to drink. And Uncle Floyd's on TV right now, so we want to go check out Uncle Floyd. That's a whole other story. But here they are, biscotti, however you say it, twice baked cookies. This is the almond variety. Like I said, you could use different nuts. You could use different flavor extracts. I used orange zest. You could use lemon zest. Doesn't really matter. That's the spirit of Crust Punk. These are the basics, and you just go with whatever you want to do. Enjoy your biscotti, and we'll see you next time on Crust Punk.